Welcome aboard, folks, and thank you for joining us again on another Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Very cold here in Colorado, and sadly to say, our Denver Broncos went down in defeat, but I guess there's always next year, and there's more games to be played, but that's just the way life is. You lose some and you win some. This time they lost. But anyway, congratulations to the Broncos for a great season, and congratulations to the Ravens that just handed them their first defeat in 11 games. Folks, we have a very special guest on today. Her name is Mary Hughes Thompson, and she is quite a gal. She's, I guess you would want to call her a pioneer. She's a person that has done many, many things, a person that cares about other people, a person that does things for other people. And we'll get into talking to Mary in just a little bit, but first of all, of course, I always want to remember, and everybody out there to remember why I do this radio show. I do this radio show not for myself, but for the 34 men that were slaughtered June 8, 1967 by the State of Israel, and the 174 others that were wounded, including myself, on that infamous day, and for their families, the families that never got to see their sons again, the families that never got to see them get married, have children, or the men that was aboard the ship that were killed that had families, and they grew up without their dad. They grew up without their dad because the Zionist State of Israel decided they wanted to murder a crew of 294 Americans on the high seas, doing what our government had ordered us to do in international waters. Now, there's no doubt about it, folks. We were a spy ship. And everybody knew it, especially the Israelis. They identified our ship as American and friendly in international waters, 12.5 miles off the coast of Sinai. They reconned our ship for at least 6 to 8 hours, positively identifying our ship as USS Liberty, AGTR-5, and they did this so on camera. So this isn't secondhand information. This is first-hand information from the very people that were there and ordered the attack. They knew who we were. They knew we were there. But all of a sudden, around 2 o'clock, they decided they forgot we were there. We just fell off their map. Then they called us the El Quasir. Yep, the El Quasir. An Egyptian horse transport that was tied up in port that could barely even float. And our government, bought and paid for by the Zionist State of Israel, went ahead and took that expedition and left us out there alone to die. Yes, sir, they left us out there alone to die. Folks, we got to go to a break here in just a couple seconds. Please support your sponsors on Republic Broadcasting Network. Real news, real talk, real people, because you can handle the truth. We'll be back in just a moment, folks, and we'll get to our guests. Thank you for listening to RBN.
If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com. And now take just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with 4 of the most nutria-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain helps with focus, memory, clarity, and mood. If you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has zero toxicity and is safe for you and your family. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at bioage.com, spelled BIOAGE.com, bioage.com, or call 877-288-9116. That's 877-288-9116. BioAge, the age of advanced organics.
Chlorine, fluoride, pathogens, and more are in the water you drink day to day. Do you want the ability to remove and reduce those harmful things in the water you drink? You can. How? With a Berkey water filter. A complete standalone gravity filter system that requires no electricity and no plumbing. Used for emergencies or for every day. Berkey systems come in 7 different sizes. Where can you get one? From GetBerkey.com. That's GetBerkey.com. With the purchase of each system, you get 50% off accessories, such as fluoride filters, water level spigot, and sport bottles. Plus, free shipping on all orders over $25. For a limited time, get 5% off all ceramic systems when you use coupon code RBN. Call GetBerkey at 855-GET-BERKEY. That's 855-438-2375. Or visit GetBerkey.com. That's GetBerkey.com.
How important is the air we breathe? Our air purifiers are made with a patent process called Aeron. Aeron is different from ozone. Aeron does not create oxides of nitrogen like other ozone machines. Unlike any air purifiers out there, the Aeron generator adds additional energy, creating higher forms of oxygen. And when the Aeron molecule comes in contact with pollution, the pollution is quickly oxidized. These higher forms of energized oxygen have more power to oxidize pollutants, removing dust, pollen, mold, and other particles from the air, destroying chemical fumes and toxic gases, kills mold, mildew, fungi, and kills many viruses and bacteria in the air and on surfaces for a healthier, cleaner environment. Visit our website, republicbroadcasting.org. That's republicbroadcasting.org. Just click on our online store or call 877-605-9200. That's 877-605-9200. Be prepared. How important is the air we breathe?
They said that Israeli forces knew not of the liberty's true identity, and so they took advantage of her serenity. They attacked the silent ship, making a 40-foot hole in the starboard.
Welcome back, folks. Here we go to your voice counts. Thank you very, very much for listening in. And at the top of the show, I told you about my very, very special guest. And she is a special guest. She's a very brave, wonderful woman with a heart of gold, and has done many, many wonderful things for many wonderful people around the world. And my hat's off to her. A heroine, no doubt. And we're going to get to Mary in just a few moments. But again, I have to get to the Liberty stuff and get it finished up with, and then we'll get Mary on the line. Folks, I left off by telling you that the Israelis, June 8, 1967, got by with cold-blooded murder. And they did. They murdered 34 of my mates and wounded 174 others and ruined a $40 million ship in the process. They fired 5 torpedoes at us. One of them hit the starboard side, instantly slaughtering 25 Americans. 25 of America's greatest heroes were slaughtered, blown to bits. There was over 850 cannon and rocket holes in the ship, 5,000 armor-piercing bullets. They dropped napalm on the ship. They shot at our firefighters and stretcher bearers. They did everything they could to murder every man aboard that ship, including shooting the only 3 life rafts we had out of the water. They shot 2 out of the water and took 1 of them aboard the boat. There was not going to be any survivors. None. Rescue aircraft that were supposedly on their way to come help us were recalled by the government of the United States, none other than LBJ and Robert Strange McNamara. They left us out there to die at the hands of Israel. In fact, LBJ said he didn't give a GD. If every man aboard that ship died, he was not going to embarrass his ally, Israel. Well, how did he know who was attacking us when we didn't? They were using unmarked aircraft to murder the only friends they had in the world. They were using our money that bought those French Mirages. They were using our money that bought the torpedo boats. They were using the money that we gave them for every shell, every piece of powder, every man and woman in the ADF. We paid for it, and we're still paying for it. And our elected officials to this very day pronounced that it was a mistaken identity. Well, they're all liars. Absolutely, they're liars. They say they've been 12 to 14 investigations. There's never been not one investigation into the murder of the crew of the USS Liberty. I want to thank Kat Faber for her wonderful songs and her dedication to the USS Liberty and its crew by getting great guests that she gets on for us every week, as she has done this week, Mary Hughes Thompson. And I thank Kat and her husband very much for what they do for the USS Liberty and her parents and everybody she's associated with, and especially her determination to make sure that this right is wronged. That is my goal, and that's what I want done. That's the only reason I'm doing this, is to make sure that these men didn't die in vain. I also want to thank the special friends, two or three special friends, and I have many. Is John Godusco. He was a former lieutenant aboard the ship. He was an intelligence officer. He got off the ship just before we left for our last cruise when we got attacked. But if you want to go to one of the best sites on the internet, go to tinyurl.com/USS Liberty. John Godusco's site. Again, tinyurl.com/USS Liberty. The very best site about the USS Liberty you'll find anywhere on the internet. Anywhere. For sure, don't go to Jim Ennis's site, a former crew member of the USS Liberty. He has a lot of hateful things on there, terrible things about this radio show, me personally, or indirectly. And people that, that want to get out the truth. I don't know what side he's on, but he's certainly not on the side of the truth. I can tell you that. He's kind of I guess one of those guys you would call what do they call them? Oh, backstabbers. That's what they are. Yeah, that's what they call them, backstabbers. Yep, that's him. Backstabber. But anyway, also I want to thank especially RBN, John Statmiller, for giving me this time to remember the valiant crew of the USS Liberty when nobody else will. American Free Press has tried, but I'll tell you what, RBN is stuck by our side. And I think RBN, and I want you to support their sponsors, please, on RBN. Real news, real talk, real people, because you can't handle the truth. So thank you, RBN. I'm forever indebted to you for the time you've given me and others to tell the truth about the USS Liberty and many other things. Also, James Morris has a site called ushijack.com, ushijack.com. Go to it and find out the very latest. In fact, we got a big thing going on right now about Senator Hagel being recommended by the President of the United States for Secretary of Defense. The Zionist Jews are going crazy over this, as ADL, AIPAC, ICE, all of them are just going nuts. And hey, this guy's a Jew hater. He hates Jews. Well, all he did was this, folks. He says, I'm a senator of the United States of America. I'm not a senator of the state of Israel. What? Tell me what's wrong with that. Tell me what's wrong with that for a man saying that he was a United States senator and not a senator for the state of Israel, and the Zionist Jews don't want him in office. Unbelievable. Just simply unbelievable. I'll tell you what, I got to take my hat off to Obama for nominating Senator Hagel, and he's going to get it. He will be confirmed as the next Secretary of Defense, and he'll make a darn good one. He was a foot soldier during during Vietnam, and got awarded 2 Purple Hearts, so he knows what it's all about. So let's not forget about Senator Hagel, and let's give him our support. And go to ushijack.com and learn a whole lot more about Senator Hagel. Mary Hughes Thompson, I apologize for keeping you on hold for so long, but like I say, I had to get the Liberty business done, and we do take several breaks here, but we're going to have people calling in and wanting to talk to you. So what brings you to Your Voice Counts, Mary?
Thank you, Phil, for inviting me to be on your program again. I was happy to do this, 3-4 years ago, I guess, after we made our successful voyage to Gaza. And I'm just delighted that you've asked me again. So I guess we could just update what's been going on and with the boats and let you know what's happening. And I enjoy listening to you talking about what the Liberty. I did become somewhat familiar. I had not even known about the Liberty, the USS Liberty, until we decided to sail to Gaza. I come from England, and it wasn't something that I had learned as a child, so I found it fascinating, and I've continued to learn more about it. And I just have to say that I felt honored that we found ourselves in a position where we were able to bring the Liberty to the forefront again, when I know that the United States and Israel would like to keep it buried. And that's why we named our boat Liberty, in honor of you and all of the men who died and all of the men who were injured. And we want to do everything we can to help keep it in the forefront so that people will not forget what happened, what our government did to you.
Well, I'll thank you very much, Mary, for what you all did. And I'll tell you, you were in grave, grave danger, and I'm sure you know that. Even naming, I think naming your boat the Liberty was a very, very smart and wise thing to do. And I hope it did something to make sure that the Israelis didn't put you on the bottom. But again, you're a very brave woman, and everybody aboard that boat was. And we had a great ceremony celebrating the lives that were lost that day, celebrating what could have been, but it was a very monumentous day for me. I'll never forget it. And, I don't know if you plan on going back there. I know you've been to Gaza many times. I don't know if you plan on going back, but let the people know what you've seen in Gaza and what it's like on the ground for the people that live there.
Gaza is quite amazing. What is particularly amazing is the way the people are so resilient, how they're able to exist when they never know what's going to be happening to them, when Israel uses every opportunity to attack them. Even now when there's supposedly a ceasefire, Israel has violated it on the very first day. Just yesterday, I think, they shot and killed a student in Gaza who was walking in Gaza on his way to school. He was an honest student, and they continue to do this. And so there's supposed to be the ceasefire, but the farmers and the fishermen in Gaza continue to be terrorized and killed. The Israelis frequently I was on fishing boats with the fishermen there because we hoped that we could give them a little bit of protection, because as soon as those fishermen go out, set their boats out to sea, you start to see these huge Navy gunships on the horizon. And they terrorize these sailors. They have sunk many boats. They arrest them. They go on the boats. They often make the fishermen take off their clothes and jump into the water. And they take their boats. They arrest the fishermen. And they claim,
Not just a minute, Mary. We're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back. It's an interesting conversation. Folks, support your sponsors on RBN. Real news, real talk, real people, because you can't handle the truth.
Golden Stag Safaris invites you to hunt in one of Argentina's most beautiful scenarios. Enjoy the quietness of the Pampas and the 5-star accommodation lodge. Excellent food and wine included in your stay. All the while hunting big game in the Argentine Valley, an area known for having a wide range of game, excellent trophies, the biggest stags in South America, as well as many other species. All gold medal quality. one-on-one guided hunts, rental guns available with the highest quality scopes in every caliber, Land Rovers for transport, pickup at Buenos Aires Airport, and a private aircraft for charter is all available. Go to www.goldenstagsafaris.com to see photos and for more information. Again, www.goldenstagsafaris.com.
$4, $5, $6, even $7 a gallon? According to fuel industry insiders and economic experts, those are the forecasted fuel prices, with no end in sight. Fight back fuel prices with a fuel saver from airfusionsystems.com. These fuel savers can save you from 20 to 40%. They're designed to fit any vehicle, from compacts to SUVs to transport trucks. The fuel saver works on all gas, diesel, even propane engines. Easy do-it-yourself installation in about 15 minutes. And the best part? No engine modifications, no computer chipping, no running wires, no chemicals, no water, no running costs, and no maintenance. And these fuel savers come complete with all parts and accessories. See how it works at airfusionsystems.com, spelled AIRFUSION systems.com, or call 888-887-9981, 888-887-9981. Fuel savers from airfusionsystems.com. Save fuel, save money, save Earth.
Hey there, my name is Frank Bates. What I'm about to tell you in the next 60 seconds could get me in a lot of trouble. I just created a free video presentation at 123crooks.com that exposes the electricity monopolies and government agencies for what they really are. Incompetent, lying crooks that are counting on your ignorance and fear to keep your power bills criminally high. Some have called this a conspiracy. Others have called it a cover-up, and you'll be shocked to find out how deep the conspiracy goes. My video at 123crooks.com exposes the truth and shows you the secret of how I beat them and how you can beat them too. Watch the controversial video that thousands of other smart patriots have already seen in the last 3 months. Go to 123crooks.com and discover one weird trick to slash your power bill and protect your home. Go watch my video now at 123crooks.com before they force me to shut it down. 123crooks.com.
Well, the time has finally come for the story to be told that should have been listened to a long time ago.
Welcome back, folks. Your voice counts, and thank you for listening. I certainly appreciate it, as I know that RBN does, and of course our special guest, Mary Hughes Thompson. Mary, you were talking about the fishermen. I understood that they keep them within 3.5 miles of the coastline, wherever they may yonder off to, from whatever village or from Gaza or wherever, to try to feed their family. And I understood they were allowed to go 12 miles, but the Israelis keep them in a very small area, which gives them a very small area to fish in. And the harassment they were getting, you just talked about, I've heard about this.
Yes, and the water is polluted, so close to the shore. So, and these men are the simplest people, the humblest men. I was out on fishing boats with them. These are the least educated, the just really the poorest of the population. And yet Israel talks about them as if, well, we can't trust them, they're running guns, and anyway, it's just symptomatic of what Israel's doing, and they attack the farmers in the buffer zone, which of course they build a buffer zone between Israel and Gaza, but they don't build it in Israel, they build it on Palestinian land, which of course is so small. But our purpose really in going to Gaza was to challenge the Israelis, who had said that Gaza was free, and of course it wasn't free. It isn't free. They control the land, the air, and the water. So we went there and we said, okay, if it's free, then you can't stop us. And we never went near Israel. We went in international waters. And lo and behold, for whatever reason, and I don't think it hurt that one of our boats was named Liberty. That was deliberate on our part. We thought it was quite clever of us to pay tribute to the sailors on board the Liberty and to put Israel in a spot that if it attacked our boat, it would then be guilty of attacking two liberties, and then all of the old stuff would come up again. So I think that we kind of thought maybe that might be helpful to us. By the way, Phil, I know that you know this, that when we were sailing, we had a ceremony on the boat, and I was part of the ceremony with Vittorio Arrigoni, who was tragically murdered in Gaza, and of course, we blame Israel, no matter who it was that actually killed Vittorio, because he was much loved in Gaza. We know that Israel, the Zionists, were behind it. But during the ceremony on the boat, I threw roses into the Mediterranean for 34 sailors who were killed, and their names were read out. And that was our way of paying tribute to all of you on that boat. So the siege continues. We wanted to shine a light on Gaza. My friends and I, most of the people who went on that boat were no longer able to visit Palestine, the West Bank. So this was our only way to get to Palestine. And so we were successful, and we continued, and we were quite amazed because we kept sailing. We got another boat. We sailed 5 more times. And then they invaded Gaza in Castled, and then they stopped our boat. They rammed our boat from 3 sides. It subsequently sank. It was a miracle that no one died in that boat. And we then had to try to get another boat because doctors and journalists were trying to get into Gaza because there were over 1,400 people killed in Gaza by Israeli terrorists, as we call them, mostly women and children. And they stopped the boat, and then from that point on, they stopped every boat that we have sent. They confiscated the boats. They threw all of the passengers in prison. They took all of the cameras, computers, cell phones, money. You probably know about the flotilla. They killed 9 passengers, unarmed passengers on board the Turkish boat Mavi Marmara, shot them in the head from above. Before they even landed, they came out shooting. Then they had the nerve to say they acted in self-defense, and they took away all of the video. They cut the live streaming. They took cameras. They took hundreds of thousands of dollars of money. We always take cash when we go because we don't know if we can. Well, we take cash because we need money to spend there. We don't want to be a burden to the people in Gaza, so we want to be able to pay for everything. And then last year, well, actually now it was 2011. I went on the second flotilla also, and I was in Greece. And we were quite amazed at the way Israel has outsourced the occupation, was able to put pressure on the Greeks, along with the Americans, put pressure on the Greeks, and they would not let us sail. So we have not been able to sail back to Gaza. Many boats have tried. None have made it.
Interesting. It's just unbelievable, the damage, the horror that these people have to go through on a daily basis. And you were talking about freedom of water, freedom of air, freedom to live. And Israel, the Zionists, have taken that, every bit of that freedom from them and used it against them. And we'll be back in just a minute, folks. We've got to take a break. We got a caller coming in. So, folks, if you want to call in, that's fine. Real news, real talk, real people on RBN. Thank you.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
Right now, food is everywhere. If you want it, you can buy it. For now. When the coming crisis occurs, how will you feed your family? Will healthy nutrition be available? The answer is probably no. Jeff Lawton will show you how to survive the coming crisis in an abundant way with permaculture. Jeff Lawton is a permaculture designer, teacher, and consultant who has shown people like you, people in 35 countries around the world, people who want to know what they can do to survive the crisis that they see approaching. There is an absolutely free video online that will help you discover how to survive by giving you step-by-step instructions in establishing food forests that will help you become survival confident. Log on to jefflawton.org right now. This free video will only be available for a limited time. That's jefflawton.org. GEOFFLAWTON.org. Survival is not optional. Visit jefflawton.org today.
Hey, meat eaters! The freeze-dry guy wants to know, does your emergency food supply meet the standards for survival? Then get the 144-day meat variety unit from the freeze-dry guy. Our meat units utilize only quality Mountain House freeze-dried cooked ground chicken and ground beef, the undisputed choice for great taste and highest nutrition. The freeze-dry guy's 144-day meat variety unit includes 6 number 10 cans of the very best freeze-dried animal protein for power you'll need when the going gets tough. Every meat eater's 144-day meat variety unit comes with a free medical kit and always free shipping to the lower 48. Need more than 144 days? See our 1-year plus meat eaters units at freezedryguy.com. And hey, the Freeze Dry Guy still has LRP rations, but they're going fast. Don't wait until tomorrow. Call now, 866-404-3663. That's 866-404-3663. Or go to freezedryguy.com and meet the standards for survival.
American gardeners and fellow patriots, make the right choice with your money, time, and your family food supply. Choose 100% pure heirloom seeds in the Survival Seed Vault from MyPatriotSupply.com. Why spend more? The Survival Seed Vault from MyPatriotSupply.com is only $37.95 and includes 20 varieties of pure, hardy, easy-to-grow heirloom seeds. Yes, only $37.95. That's 70% less than our competitors. You could buy 3 Survival Seed Vaults for less than one of theirs. The Survival Seed Vault from MyPatriotSupply.com includes detailed planting and seed-saving instructions and ships same day. Plus, all orders over $49 ship free. MyPatriotSupply.com is American-owned by patriots like you, passionate about freedom and preparedness. Call now, 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Or discover more emergency preparedness items when you order at MyPatriotSupply.com. Choose the original. Choose the Survival Seed Vault at MyPatriotSupply.com.
Well, finally, the officials back in Washington sent out a message that the ship moved farther out.
Shh, please.
There were too many errors and too much time wasted. The bombs were coming down.
Welcome back, folks. Excuse me, to your voice counselor. I appreciate you hanging on. And I was thinking during the break, during that ceremony, remembering the 34 men that were slaughtered June 8, 1967, aboard your good ship Liberty when the ceremony took place. Ron Kukl and I, we did that show right here on RBN Live. We were the only radio station in the United States and around the world that did that radio station, did that broadcast, that did that ceremony live. And thank you, RBN, for doing that. And it was a very heartfelt and a strong tribute to the men that died that day. And I really do believe that you naming your boat Liberty had very much to do with your safe passage getting into Gaza. As you said, they didn't want to get Liberty in the news again. They don't want Liberty in the news now. They never have. They never will. There was a ship that was supposed to be named Liberty with some of the steel that came down from the Twin Towers, but they decided against it because of the controversy over the name. Liberty would bring up old memories and old grudges and old murders that were committed by the State of Israel, the Zionist State of Israel, that they didn't want anybody to know about. And we do have a couple guests on, and we always go to our guests if we can, Mary, but I want to thank you very, very much, and the crew liberty for, during that ceremony. It's something that you can find on John Godesco's site. In fact, it's tinyurl.com//USS Liberty. You can find it right there and listen to it at your leisure. We have Bill in Ohio. Bill, please come on board, and thank you for joining us on Your Voice Counts. What's on your mind?
Well, I can't believe my good fortune. I'm actually talking to two real heroes. One a modern day, your guest, Phil, for what she did. It really is heroic, and of course you for what you managed to not only survive but live to tell about it and let your voice be heard. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, Phil. You inspire me and hopefully many others. And I know it's got to be hard sometimes, but getting your story out there, I hope that there are some maybe computer and some tech-savvy guys that can eventually make your story, and I read your book, yours and Mark Glenn's book. It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, but make that into a movie. It's easy enough to do. We've met some families that have actually made some neat movies, low-budget films, and I mean low-budget, but you wouldn't know it by watching the movies. It is just amazing what can be done these days, and I'd love to have that story retold. The American public needs to see and hear and witness a reenactment of the carnage and of the treachery that took place that day. That was my comment. If I could be so bold as to make just a suggestion to you both, when I refer to Gaza, it is always the Gaza concentration camp, because that's what it is. It's the largest open-air concentration camp. So anytime I mention the word Gaza, and hopefully when you mention the word Gaza, both of you and your friends that you tell, this will spread. And enough people soon enough will understand what these people are living through. It's a living nightmare, an absolute nightmare. So I'm going to shut up. That's all I had for you. I wish you good luck and good fortune and all of the best to both of you. And thank you so much again for your bravery and your courage and your eloquence in what you say and your message. It is a message of hope. I promise you. So again, thank you so much, and God bless both of you. Okay.
Boy, thank you, Bill. I'll tell you what, and I will do as you asked, because it's very appropriate. And I have said this many times before, perhaps not enough on this radio show. This is an open-air concentration camp. Please go ahead, Mary.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And we frequently refer to it as the world's largest open-air concentration camp. And we get challenged all the time, but they say, well, where are the gas ovens? And we said, we're not calling it an extermination camp, although it is increasingly becoming so. Israel is smart. They're doing it in a very, very slow, insidious way, but they are committing slow-motion genocide against the Palestinian people.
Mary, when you kill a student, an honor student, going to school to better himself, to better the world, to better his family, I think that's the type of slow, degenerative taking of life that these people have planned on from day one. And they're getting the job done off the backs of Americans, money, wars that we have fought for Israel, Iraq, Afghanistan. They want us in Syria. Certainly the big prize is Iran. What are your thoughts on that, Mary?
Of course. As far as I'm concerned, Israel is a rogue state. They would like to control the entire Middle East. They talk about from the river to the sea, but they, of course, in their dreams, I think. They want to be the only country in the Middle East that has nuclear weapons, and I've never understood why America seems to think that's okay. It doesn't make sense to me that America does not even allow Israeli nuclear weapons to be mentioned when they have all of these world conferences about nuclear energy. America promises Israel that we will not let anybody bring up the subject of Israel's nuclear arms, which I've never understood that. So I think that Israel is just a predator, and as always, all it is Israel wants to do is to fight. But actually, no, that's not true. They would like America to fight wars for them. I don't believe they will do it by themselves. I think one of the most frustrating things for Netanyahu has been America's reluctance to go to fight, wage war on Iran. And at the moment it's looking kind of good. Like, I was afraid that Israel was going to start something because America always says, we have your back, and that's quite frightening. But, I don't know as much probably as you do about all of the ramifications, all the intricacies of what Israel does, but I know that Israel is always looking for war. They're always looking for power, conquest. They're still living in the dark ages where they think they can take land by conquest, and I think they will never stop until they are stopped, and that will involve America finally getting the message and refusing to keep putting money into Israel's begging bowl every time they come around and ask for more money.
Very interesting, and I happen to agree with the begging bowl. But I also, when we talk about that, we have to also talk about Netanyahu in the halls of our Congress getting 29 standing ovations. Our presidents don't even get that. And secondly, it is sickening. And secondly, we have to think about the big bear. Is the big bear going to allow Israel to dictate, as they have done for the last, since 1948 at least, and beyond then, what's going to happen in the world? I think that Putin is about up to his neck with Netanyahu and his antics, and all the things that go on in Syria, in Iran, and around the world, Lebanon and whatever. They're never to blame for anything. It's always somebody else's fault. I don't care. When they murdered our 34 shipmates, it was our fault because we were in the area and in international waters, and we shouldn't have been there, and on and on and on. Every excuse you can come up with. But anyway.
That's how they operate. They're the eternal victim. It's always about Israeli victimhood. They are this tiny little country, defenseless little country, defending itself against all of these 22 Arab countries. Everybody wants to drive them into the sea. Everybody wants to kill them. And most of it is complete fiction. Most of the things they claim have been said, whether it's Ahmadinejad. He never said those words that they say. He never said he wanted to wipe Israel off the map. He wants to see the end of the Zionist regime. So do I. That's like saying you want to see the end of the Nazi regime. That didn't mean we wanted to see Germany destroyed. We wanted to see the end of a regime. But it works to Israel's benefit to continue to claim that we are the victim. Everybody wants to get us. We have to defend ourselves. And America, and as long as America continues to keep, I think you talk about Putin. I think Obama too is fed up with Netanyahu. But the power, the tentacles of Israel go so deep into our Congress that I don't know how we're going to extricate ourselves from it.
Oh, I don't either, and that is the biggest, the most egregious problem we have in the greatest nation so far on the face of the earth is the Zionist power in our own Congress. And we do have another caller, and this here fellow, I'm sure you know, his name is James Morris. He lives out in California also, and he is also the fellow I talked about, ushijack.com, ushijack.com. Welcome aboard, James. What do you have to say today on Your Voice Counts?
Well, thanks for taking my call, and it's great to be on the air with Mary. I know we got her on the air on the Liberty Hour before, after I met her in person at the Israeli consulate demonstration when they were putting up the Israeli flag for the first time in Wilshire Boulevard in L.A., and it was a pleasure to meet her, and I still remember her to this day with a huge Palestinian flag she had there on the street corner after they moved us away. The Israeli sycophant mayor of ours didn't like us holding signs saying no more for wars for Israel. At least I had that sign. And they had us move away. They didn't like the photo op that presented right in front of the Israeli consulate there on Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles. But anyway, it's great to have Mary back on the air. I don't know what to say after you guys have said everything here. I've got a few points to make, but you guys are spot on. I mean, it's basically all wars for Israel. We're, going after Iran for Israel, going after Syria for Israel. Phil, what you had said earlier about Chuck Hagel, yeah, and thank you for mentioning my USHijack.com blog. And of course, I still remember that. I was just looking at the views for that video of confronting John McCain in San Diego on Memorial Day after I'd met with you the weekend before. And anyway, that YouTube's up to over 27,000 views. Of course, I wish it had 1 million, but you can just do a Google search or a Yahoo search for McCain confronted, and it pops right up. And it was an honor to have you have the kind words that you did near the end of that YouTube, and also make the request of John McCain to finally have a hearing for the Liberty survivors into Congress. And of course, every time the Israel lobby says there's been 12 or 14 investigations, I like to respond in saying, how many times has a Liberty survivor testified before Congress and John McCain? And I think we know the answer to that, and that's none. So I don't think an investigation is complete unless you have eyewitness testimony, like yourself and Lloyd Painter, who saw the Israelis machine gunning the life rafts. I think that's pretty powerful stuff, and obviously the Israel lobby does not want that on the congressional record via testimony. But anyway, also what you'd said about Chuck Hagel, yeah, I mean, is it a crime to say that you're a senator for America, not a senator for Israel? And then he went on to also say that the Jewish lobby has a lot of influence on Capitol Hill, which is also true. You have people come back and say, well, it's not necessarily just the Jewish lobby, it's the Israel lobby. You have a lot of Christian evangelicals on there that also are influential, like John Hagee and others. And that's true, but when you see the annual AIPAC convention in Washington every year, who's running the show? It's the powerful Jewish donors, and there are Jews that are basically, in charge of things there. Now, does that mean every Jew pushes the AIPAC line? No, it doesn't. But it is a Jewish lobby. It's a powerful Jewish lobby. It's pushed us into wars, as even former Colin Powell assistant Lawrence Wilkerson mentioned when Ron Kugel, fellow Liberty survivor Ron Kugel and I co-hosted. He had said it was, that Dick Cheney, who was with this group of neocons, Israel First neoconservatives, had pushed us into these wars for Israel and Iraq, and they'd like to do the same with Syria and Iran. He said it was Dick Cheney who was the president under George W. Bush, and we know that Cheney's in tight with those neocons. So the bottom line, he also said in a very powerful Dutch AIPAC documentary, the VPRO documentary, you can Google that online, or you can go to tinyurl.com/Mearsheimer and scroll down to the bottom there. And it basically, he said it was a Jewish lobby as well in that Dutch AIPAC documentary. But I think what's also important is how the media is in our country, and I'll try to finish this up here so Mary can respond. Mary knows that I was in that Valentino's Ghost film that had, and Mary, there's a very interesting development with that I wanted to touch on. I've been in touch with S.D. Chandler of L.A. Jewish Voices for Peace. Yes. And she wants to do a screening of it, the full version, of course, not the censored version that PBS is going to edit my exchange with Lee Hamilton about 9/11 motivation and also the AIPAC parts. They're actually going to air that or send it out to their affiliates on June 8th, ironically.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, but the thing is...
I know that you'll let me know on Facebook.
Of course, Mary. And what I wanted to find out, though, is S.D. Chandler wants to do a screening of it with Jordan Al-Grabli, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right.
At the Levantine Center.
Yeah, she's very interested in doing it. And, of course, that'll be the full version, not the edited version. But what that goes to show, another good friend of mine, Phil Giraldi, former CIA officer Phil Giraldi, came out with an excellent piece in the American Conservative recently, and he said that the editors there haven't really allowed him to do a film review, and this is his first one, and it's received overwhelming response, and they're very happy with it. And it's titled, I'll put that out for the record. I know the show's archived, so people can listen in and come back and get the links. It's tinyurl.com/why we hate them. And Phil goes on to say how, he does a review of Valentino's Ghost, which is excellent. There's a lot of comments at the bottom there, including one about the Liberty. And he goes on to say it's basically how our media conveys what's going on in the Middle East to the American public, and we know who's basically controlled that media. And I think people like Rick Sanchez and others have pointed that out. And Joel Stein wrote a piece about how the Hollywood media is basically controlled by Jews who put Israel first.
James, we got a break coming up, and I certainly don't want to break you off because it's a very interesting subject we're talking about. But folks, we have to go to a break, and then we got another caller, Tom from Brooklyn. Don't hang up, Tom. We're going to get to you. RBN, Real News, Real Talk, because you can't handle the truth. Thank you.
Introducing Michael Anthony's Private Stock Herbal Formulas, infection killer for all infections, viral, bacterial, fungal, parasitic. My Rapid Heal for all injuries enables the body to mend super fast. My System Toner, the Rejuvenator, tune-up for the entire body, head to toe, keeping it youthful, the mind positive and focused. Dragon Juice, the Revitalizer, pure power in a delicious drink. If your body's dragging, you need Dragon Juice. Lung Formula for asthma and all lung afflictions, arthritis fix, great tasting herbal teas, and more. Michael Anthony's Private Stock exclusive herbal formulas. To find out more, call 845-231-1094 or email Michael Anthony's Private Stock at yahoo.com. Michael Anthony's Private Stock exclusive herbal formulas.
Wouldn't you agree? Healthy people are happier and more productive. Obesity is the root cause of many health problems. Do you want to lose weight safely, look sexy and attractive without side effects and no chemicals? Lose weight without the side effects safely with Zeno's organic dietary supplements. Made in the USA, 100% USDA certified organic. Visit www.zenos.com. That's www.zenohs.com. Try our products risk-free for a limited time offer. No purchase necessary. You only pay shipping and handling. Get your old, sexy body back now. Visit Zenos.com. Get your free supplements now. Visit Zenos.com right now. www.zenohs.com. That's www.zenohs.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Why do over 50% of North Americans suffer from some form of chronic ailment? Could it be due to a toxic overload? It's time to take back your life. Get the lead out as well as the cadmium, mercury, and calcium. Extendovite is a garlic cayenne supplement with 5 other herbs that acts like a natural Drano, cleaning out the stored toxins, restoring your energy and youthfulness that we've lost. If you would like to live your life free of sickness, pain, or fear, then Extendovite is for you. Available in either capsules or liquid, you too can see why Extendovite is the #1 heart drop available. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Welcome back, folks, to Your Voice Counts, and I wanted to thank you, folks, for hanging in there to Your Voice Counts, and I certainly, wanted to thank Bill from Ohio calling in. There's no doubt, and James, always interesting. James is just full of knowledge, and we got Tom from Brooklyn.
Can I just say one quick thing?
Sure.
I know we're almost out of time, but I got to say this.
Please.
First of all, I want to thank you guys for helping us get the money for our first boat. But I want you to know that we've got a book. It's called Freedom Sailors, and it's very, very, very interesting. The story of how we raised the money, they got the idea. We were helped by you, and Ron sent us money, and I signed all the letters. Thank you from Daisy. That was me. And you helped us tremendously. It's a fascinating story, the story of how we planned it and how we finally got to Gaza, the trouble we went through getting the boats, getting there. And I think you'll find it really, really interesting. Anybody who's interested in Gaza and sailing will find it interesting. It's called Freedom Sailors, and you can get it through Amazon or freedomsailors.com.
Absolutely. Thanks for that information, Mary, and I'll make sure that we post that on our website, and I know James will too. And we're going to go ahead and get Tom in real quick. Tom from Brooklyn, please come on, please.
Oh, good evening, folks. In 1967, a colonel at that time, Benton Parton, wrote a blue paper document called the Sino-Soviet Split. It was given at the Air Force War College at Maxwell Air Force Base. Basically, I'll give it to you in a nutshell. The Soviet Union and the Chinese would gravitate towards the United States and befriend them. And what they would basically do is drain their resources, and at the time when they got weak, they would simultaneously take them down one way or another. Now, Russia has been the bear, as you were calling it, has not had to do that, has not had to work on it because they have Israel. Picture this, folks. You ready? The United States of America is borrowing money from our enemy, Communist China, to help our friend, who's another enemy, Israel. So Russia just has to sit back and watch the whole thing. We're in a really, really precarious situation as Americans. And, Phil, you know firsthand that the Israelis have never been our friend.
Oh, absolutely, Tom. Absolutely, Tom. And I understand exactly where you're coming from. I'd like Mary to comment on that. Please go ahead, Mary.
You know what? You faded out a little bit, so I can't really comment too much on that. It's not really something that I'm that familiar with, and I'll leave it to you. And I also love.
Here's something. You see, when you allow the perpetrator to control the narrative, okay, you got to remember something. You're running a flotilla operation. They also have submarines. And you know what? One of the icebergs must have come up from Antarctica, and your ship ran into it. This is the type of narrative you have. Absolutely ludicrous. Crazy people create crazy legislations and make crazy allegations. But you want to know something? The crazier something sounds, the more people believe it, because the sparkle and the razzle and dazzle of these people that control our media is absolutely unbelievable.
Okay, here we go, folks. Sorry to break you off, Tom, but hey, Mary, thank you very much for coming on air. We want to get you back on again.
Enjoyed it, Phil. We'll do it again.
Okay, thank you much. And folks, thanks for listening to RBN, Real News, Real Talk, Real People, because you can't handle the truth. And thank you, Sam. You did a great job tonight. Good night. See you, folks.
Why so many